So hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm so excited that you're here and I'm so excited for this video. It's not going to be for everyone and it might be a bit lengthy, but basically I've recovered from like a super unhealthy relationship with food and my body, and I know it's super common, and I just feel like we don't talk about it enough. So in this video we're really going to get into it. We're going to talk about what I learned. I'm going to give you some super practical tips on what helped me to recover. Yeah, I'm super psyched, so let's get into it. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is what I learned. But yeah, so I struggled a lot with binge eating. I did it pretty frequently, but the most important thing that I learned is that it's not a big deal, that overeating is not a big deal. It's pretty normal. And so yeah, last night after dinner I had like some samosas and I had like a vegan sausage roll, and I had some ice cream and some crackers and dip, some toast as well, I think, and that's okay. That's totally okay to do that. I just know that the next day I'm not going to be as hungry, and what I know most importantly is that immediately I'm not going to gain weight, because that's not actually possible. It's not all over. The next day will follow, and then the next day I'll just listen to my body and I probably won't be as hungry because I had like 4 or 5 meals the day before instead of 3, and that's okay. Your body will just regulate and you're not going to immediately put on weight. You're not going to eat like that every day, so it's okay. It's not a big deal. I knew that I was just eating that because I was in a snacky late night mood. I was a bit tired, the rest of my family was snacking, and that's okay. And other times I would I'd overeat and I'd know that it was because I was sad, and because instead of like going and figuring out what I was sad about or what I was anxious about, I would just eat instead. So it's so much more important to identify why you did that rather than what you ate, because going to food and going to restricting is not going to solve your problems. It's not going to deal with that thing that's like eating away at you. It's just going to keep masking it and keep feeding this cycle. So another confronting question that I had to keep asking myself was, why do you actually want to lose weight? Why do you want to be thinner? If you're within a healthy weight range and you've got a healthy BMI, you don't actually need to lose weight. And I found that I was trying to do that, to try and mask and cover up my feeling of like not being good enough, for whatever reason that was for me or whatever reason that is for you. And losing weight is not going to solve that. Being in control of how much you eat is not going to solve that. What you really need to do, and what was really important for me, was to actually figure out why I didn't feel good enough, or why I was feeling sad, or why this or why that, and that's what's going to actually free you from being so controlled by food and exercise, and what's going to really help you to be confident in yourself and accept yourself, rather than losing weight to accept yourself, because that'll never work. It'll never happen. I learned that restricting myself and having super rigid rules never worked in the long time, because I would either restrict myself for a few days and then binge like crazy, or I just wouldn't have enough energy because I didn't have enough food or fuel in my body to like be in the midst of life. So you're either missing out on life or binging and reversing all the hard work you were doing. So just restricting and having rigid rules is never a good idea, and it's super exhausting. Like, you just run out of mental space to do anything else and you just miss out on life. So when you actually loosen your grip and let yourself have that cake or chocolate or whatever, which is okay to have those things, you'll actually have more mental space to make better nourishing decisions for your body, which is actually what you want to do. So it's kind of counterintuitive, but that's what I really learned, that when I ditched the rules and I really relaxed, I was actually able to make decisions that I wanted to. For me, what really helped was removing like the spectrum of a good and a bad food and having them as the same status and just having them in the same category as food, because that's going to remove the anxiety and stress around the 2 different food groups, and you're going to be able to just listen to your body and choose what it wants, rather than having this massive anxiety about good or bad foods. And when you're thinking about that one food, it's probably because your body needs it, or because your emotions need it, and you're just used to going to food or used to restricting, and in those moments it really helped me to think about whether I wanted that food or whether I needed comfort, and whether I needed to sort something out that was going on inside. Yeah, I believe in Jesus, and I also found that when I just trusted him with my body because he created it and he knows how it works, I was freed so much because I just knew that I just had to do the basics, and my body would do the rest and my God would do the rest as well. Alrighty, so now that we've gotten through what I learned, let's get into some super practical tips. So first, let's begin with like some mind tips. I started seeing a psychologist, and we'll talk about that later. But what she got me to do was start a food diary. So not how many calories, not food tracking, but what you ate, when you ate it, why you ate it, how you felt. And this just really helps you to identify patterns, maybe of like, what's going on, why you ate that much, what things happen in your week, or what things are happening at home or within friendships that are making you eat like that, or making you not eat. And it was just super helpful for me to identify things and try to work around sorting out what was going on in here, because it was evident through what I was eating. So the second thing that I did for my mental health was to write out like a table of what you're telling yourself, like the lies you're telling yourself, and then the truth opposing that, and just reading through that regularly really helped to free me from that like mental battle inside. So for me, like I would write out, for example, like I'm disgusting and overweight, because that's unfortunately what I used to think, and I know so many girls do. And then next to it, yeah, because I believe in Jesus, I would write that I'm fearfully and wonderfully made, and that's the truth. And just looking at that regularly will really help to free you from that like mental jail that you're in. And if you believe in Jesus as well, I really also found that Psalm 9 pretty much set me free from this eating disorder business. It's amazing. So just having that truth and having a mantra that you can speak to yourself in the mirror or just say to yourself throughout the day is really going to help you, and it helped me so much. And then I also made up a list of things that make me really happy, and things that really fill my soul, and things that are as easy to do as turning to food or turning to restricting. And I just printed that up and put it on the side of my wall, made it really pretty, and I would just look at it and remind myself that other things make me happy and comfort me other than food, and that will just remove the grip and control that food has over you, which is really awesome. And then some super practical hands-on tips. So one of the things that I did is that I stuck pictures of me and my friends in the pantry and in the fridge, so that when I would go there to binge, I would look at them and go and be reminded that my life is bigger than food and my body, and that I don't have to turn to food. It's not going to solve my problems, and it would just really distract me from going into that cycle of masking my emotions with food. And another one is phone a friend. If you've got some good friends, just give them a ring. If I knew I was going to binge, I would just pick up my phone, it's super easy, and I'd just give them a ring, and we just chat. And after that, I felt that urge to binge or urge to restrict would be gone, which was super amazing. And another one is cover up your mirrors. Mirrors are not a vibe when you're struggling with an eating disorder, because you will just continually body check. And I'm still finding, even though that I'm healed and I've recovered, I still body check quite a bit, and it's just a habit that I'm learning to not do. So I just went on to eBay and got like some $13 drapes and just put them over my mirrors, and they look beautiful, boho, and they stop you from body checking, and that just takes such a weight off, which is amazing. I would recommend. And another one is clean out your social media feed. I would recommend so highly unfollowing models. You'll just be comparing yourself to them all the time. So I just found it super helpful for me to unfollow models and follow like body positive people. So I follow people like Ashley Graham, and she is just amazing. I couldn't recommend her enough. No scales, no tracking. Don't have scales in the house. Don't track your calories. It's just a really slippery slope into slipping into that eating disorder again. So yeah, just for me, I found it super helpful to not have scales in the house and to not track anything, because it's more important how you're feeling than if you've put on a few 100 grams or a few kilos. Another practical tip that my psychologist helped me with was to eat my fear foods. I would eat bread or eat cake or eat something with wheat or gluten in it. I would eat it every day until I wasn't afraid of it anymore, and now I just love bread. And I know that it's actually not bad for me, and that I need whole grains in my diet. and that carbs are good for you and they help you sleep and they give you energy, and so that's a super helpful thing to do as well. That'll just help you really break free from the grip that food has over you. And another one is, if you've had a binge the night before, or if you've overeaten, you always have got to eat breakfast, because if you skip breakfast or if you restrict your breakfast, you're just going to go into an endless cycle of restricting and binging, restricting and binging, restricting and binging, and it's just ridiculous and it's so consuming. So even though you might not be hungry, and I know it is sometimes uncomfortable to eat on a full stomach, but just having a good wholesome breakfast the next morning, I promise you, is going to break that cycle and is just going to help you to have a healthier relationship with food and your body. And the last tip that I found really helpful for me is to try and not be alone at home or alone somewhere for a whole day, because that'll just give you so much time and space to think about food in your body. So if you can try plan a few activities throughout the day, or try have someone at home with you. If you live by yourself, try call a friend or something and plan that into your day, just so you can be reminded that life is bigger than just food in your body, and so that you don't have, like, you're not by yourself and you can't be attacked by your mind. I'm just going to talk a little bit about some lifelines that really helped me. So the first place that really helped me was the Butterfly Foundation, and they're a not-for-profit organisation, and they're just really specialised in eating disorders, and they're just a free phone call away, and I just called them a lot when I just needed to chat and I wasn't going super well, and they're all trained in how to deal with people with eating disorders, and I thought they were super helpful. And they also can recommend you psychologists who are specialised in eating disorders in your area, and they recommended me to the Redleaf clinic in Wahroonga if you're living in Sydney, and I couldn't recommend them enough. They helped me so much. And yeah, they were just amazing. So would recommend them if you're struggling with an eating disorder and need to see a professional. Redleaf Clinic, hit them up. And then also I found that having really going into my support networks was super helpful. So like my friends and the people at my church really helped me in my healing. And well, that's actually how I got healed, is when one of my friends from my church prayed for me and I was healed of my eating disorder, which is awesome. But yeah, just really having those people around you and not keeping it to yourself. You don't have to say it aloud and shout at everybody, I have an eating disorder, but just having those few people that you really trust and who really know you and will really support you and come alongside you and encourage you to love yourself and to recover. So yeah, that was a long spiel, but I hope that if you're struggling with your relationship with food and your body, that you really got something out of that, or you feel encouraged a little bit to love yourself more, or to make some steps in recovery. And I just wish you the best, and yeah, just know that eating in your body is not a big deal, that you're awesome, you're beautiful, and that you're going to get through it. I just hope you have the best week, and yeah, bless you. See you later.